Hey everyone, welcome to Phoenix Talks with Brindlewolf and Diane. Unfortunately, Diane isn't going to be able to join us tonight due to some personal issues, but we still have a show that we are bringing you. And I say we because I'm joined by a special guest and friend, the very own Dominique, the Mistress. She has agreed to join the conversation tonight, and we are talking about intuition. Go ahead and say hello, Dominique, so they can see you.
Hello, hello. I'm
And
happy to be here.
I am so happy and I appreciate you dropping everything right at the last minute to join us. And I got the chat room pulled up on my computer. So if anybody who is watching this in the live show, they can, if you have any questions or comments, you can drop them right in the live chat and we'll answer them or expand, whatever the case is of what we're talking about. But like I said, and I almost canceled tonight, but I was guided by my intuition to continue on with the conversation. So, what is intuition? I want to hear what Dominique has to say. I want to know what your take on intuition is.
You put me on the spot already, huh?
Yes, ma'am. Let's play the show word on the spot.
Let's see. Intuition. To me, it's the inner knowing. It's that pull before the thought. The thing that doesn't really steer you wrong. And so when we start to thinking too much, that's when we start getting confused. It's that unconfused knowledge.
Is that confused? Yeah. And it's interesting because the way that it's defined is that it's the knowing without having any logical reasoning.
Yep. That's what I said, but I said it my way.
Yeah, of course, of course. Oh, the mama's watching. Hello, mama. But there are so many different ways that we can look at intuition. We can call it a gut feeling. That's probably the easiest way that most people can recognize what intuition actually is, because it is that quiet, that secret knowing that we have about a situation. I was speaking of the mother. I was having a conversation with her just before the show, and she was saying that it seems like most men are not tapped into their own intuition, and that more often than not, women, especially mothers, have a heightened sense of intuition. Like if there is danger around them, or if something is going on with a family member or a friend, or they can see through somebody else's mask, and that more often than not, that this is a female tendency or characteristic, trait, whatever, however you want to label it, than men. Now, me being a man and me following my own intuition, especially when I get slapped up across the face with it, kind of argues that point. But do you, Dominic, do you think that women have more of a tendency than men?
I say we do. And it's not simply because we're women, it's more of conditioning and societal pressures because we're okay with emotions. We're not scrutinized for having emotions, and saying your gut feeling, that's kind of like taboo in the mainstream man world to me, from what I witnessed. There, like you said, when I said it's unconfused knowledge, it's about before it gets to being a thought. Well, if you are trained to go on logic, you're cutting off that intuition. So I can see how that would be a commonality with men to not to go against what their guts tell them and go by what their brain tell them.
Absolutely. Um, One way that I will describe to people how they can tap into their intuition, and men especially, because men enjoy eating. They love food. So years ago, because I watch patterns in people, and something that I picked up by watching the patterns of people, that they would have specific cravings for food. And it didn't matter what else they ate. I mean, we've all experienced this where you would go and eat, you would open up the cabinets. I'm really hungry. I've got a craving for, but sometimes it's really specific.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's a dead on specific. This is the food that I want. This, nothing else is going to sate this. You open the cabinets, it ain't there. So you're left with, okay, well, maybe this will, and you eat that. Nope. And you eat, well, maybe this will, and nope. And you just keep going and going and going because that gut instinct, that knowing that from the inside, because the body is going to know faster than the mind. So use that. Okay, what are you craving? Tap into the hungry, tap into the body. What are you craving? What are you hungry for? Now, if you can't find it, what's in it? What minerals? What vitamins?
Absolutely.
Is it the calories? Is it the fat? Is it the kind of fat? Is it the kind of calories? What is it in about that? Is it the taste? But there is something that the body is wanting and calling out, and this is an inner knowing. And there's no logic behind it, because by the time you feel absolutely bloated and you haven't had what it was that you wanted, but you're still hungry and you just going at it.
Yeah.
So sometimes just, well, thank God for DoorDash, because now you can just order it, you know.
And that's the truth. Sometimes you gotta have what you want. You just But you're right. Most of the times it is our body craving for something particular. It's usually a vitamin or, like you said, a certain element of that food and not the food itself. And we should listen to it. Now, that doesn't mean that you gotta overindulge, because even if it's cake, like, why do I really want this cake? You know, it's, get just a small slice. It'll be okay.
And sometimes it's literally just that. Like, for instance, sometimes it's that recognition of, okay, I just finished a meal, let me have something sweet at the end, so that there's the book closes on the inside. So you don't need this gargantuan slice of pie or cake to close the book on that. Well, maybe sometimes you do need that extra slice of pizza, but let it have Nutella on it. Anyway.
I think somebody want pizza.
Sometimes just a single cookie is enough to close that chapter. But, you know, there's so much more to intuition. And something over the years, I have coined a phrase when it comes to my own personal intuition about a situation. I call it a mica pause. Where somebody will ask me if I want to do something, or if I want something, or if something should be done. And I'll be like, maybe. That is a verbal indication, if you ever hear me say it, of a mica pause, because something about the request doesn't sit right. And you, with the work that you do in the spiritual world, you know that everything happens in accordance to what's supposed to. And when when a request is made for us to do something, and we just feel that, no, or not yet, or no answer.
Yeah.
And that eventually we will know why, because it will present itself. But in the moment, it's going to upset people. And you and I both know that we got to be okay with that.
I was just about to say that, and that's okay, because it'll avoid us a lot of trouble if we just take that pause and really put, like, really be in that moment and then be authentic with what you say next, because it's so easy to say, hey, you want to go to the party? Sure. Why did I say that? I don't know if I really want to go. Why did I say that? Well, a lot of times we agree with things or go along with things without even putting thought in why we doing it. So that pause tells you, hey, this is a significant moment. You have a choice right here on what you do next. And you know what I call them, Micah. The dominoes.
Yeah. Of course, you have to call it my nemesis. Because we all know how I feel about dominoes. Anyway, but it's that domino effect. And when our inner intuition, when our inner knowing is like a lit, and it's creating that pause, it's creating that stop, look, wait, hold up inside. We have the opportunity in that moment to recognize whether or not it's a logical thing, mm-hmm. or if it's just a full body, full spirit. Whoa, wait, hold up. How's that spelled? Oh, that's right, AHT. But in those moments where we do have that pause, mm-hmm. like you said, stopping, reflecting, feeling into it. And sometimes you don't have an answer. You don't have a reason. There's no logical reason why you don't do it. When in all outer appearances, it should be done. Oh, there's that word. And that's why a lot of people don't listen to their intuition, their inner knowing, because they should be doing what everybody else expects. Mm-hmm. Even though everything about it says it's wrong.
Right. Absolutely.
I want to hear what's on your heart, because you're holding back.
I don't. I'm pausing. I'm taking it in and I'm reflecting on my recent life. And something significant happened for me because I decided not to do readings anymore. It just been bothering me. It didn't make logical sense why it was bothering me, because it was making the majority of my money. I did good work, but it just made me go in the inside. And it took a while for me to really think on that thing. Like, what's wrong with this picture? And if you've been knowing me personally, well, you know the story, but for the audience, basically, it felt like it was going against my morals. I felt like I was undervaluing my gifts. It's like I felt like a gossip goddess. I felt like I'm using these divine gifts to snitch and snoop on people and tell them about, what they whatever doing. So I was like, that's not me. I don't want to snitch. I want to heal. I want to help. And so I had that moment, that intuitive moment, like, aha, there's nothing else for you here. You've learned, you've fine-tuned this gift so much. Like, why are you still doing it? Because are you really helping the person? And so I had to really think about it. Yes, we do help them. Readings do help. It's guidance. But y'all know, anybody who ever had a reading, depends on what you're getting a reading about. Do you want to know what the celebrity's doing, or are you really trying to get somewhere to grow in your life? So that's what I was thinking about when you was talking about that. Like, yeah, that pause came a long time ago, but the logical thing was for me to keep doing it because it was good money. So sometimes it don't make sense. It doesn't. It's like, why would you stop doing something that was working? Mm-hmm. I have no good reason other than intuition. It tells me to move on now. I don't do that anymore.
Right. And that's perfect example of what so many deal with when it comes to not listening to the signals in their life. when they're not happy with something, when they're not feeling fulfilled. I mean, they could be making, 100K a year plus and be absolutely miserable with what they're doing. Meanwhile, they keep their eyes keep looking over at something else.
Mm-hmm.
And, I mean, it's on the same level of cheating, but at the same time, not, because it's just like, all right, I'm making decent money here, but I want to do that over there because that I feel called to. That just feels right. But I won't be able to live the life that I'm used to. So I'm just going to stay where I'm comfortable. Meanwhile, everything around me just continues to fall apart because I'm not listening to the call.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And while it's uncomfortable and hell, because I had the same calling, get out. Because where I was in every way you can think of, killing me.
Yeah.
So I went to ground zero to try and figure out what the calling was. I found the calling. Okay. It took me below ground zero before I knew what I needed to do in order to get back up to ground zero so that I could start climbing again.
That sounds like a good song. When you come back out of the grave.
All right, off to Suno I go tomorrow.
Like I done went past ground zero. I was under the dirt.
Yeah. And how many people are so afraid to go under the deck that they don't listen to their own guidance? And how many people get put under the deck because they don't listen to their own guidance?
Yeah.
And okay, all right, here's one for anybody who, doesn't believe in spiritual woo-woo. How many times have you thought or said out loud, I knew I should have done that?
Bingo.
And if you said that and you knew that before whatever that was happened, and then you wind up saying, well, I knew I shouldn't have done that. Well, guess what? That's intuition. And every single human being on the face of the planet has it.
Yep. And a lot of times people push it aside thinking they're being paranoid or negative. But intuition is not all about warning and deterrence either. I mean, sometimes the push is a good thing, and you think that you're being overzealous. I'm over eager. Oh no, that's not gonna be me. And you can shut it. You can shoot it right down. We gotta stop doing it. We get in our own way a lot by doing that, thinking why that you're not the one that can get this fabulous job, or you're not the one who will get a spotlight on whatever. Sometimes our intuitions tell us to go out, think out of the box. You might see something that you didn't know that you love, because you have never done it. But your intuition says, hey, this is an opportunity. Go do this thing. And you're like, and so you just missed the opportunity to do something great. So what I say, everything that we're into right now, everything that grabs our eye, nothing is coincidence. I say it's going to be either one category or the other. It's going to either be something that's supposed to attract us or something that's supposed to distract us. And it's up to us to discern which one it is. And if you look back on everything that you're into right now, most likely it's a tie. It's a reason for that. So, but that's a whole nother subject because I'll trail off into self-awareness.
Yeah, we watch the rabbit holes and the branches, and so that we don't dance out too far or fall into.
Right.
But totally right. And my train of thought just left the station as to what I. Come back.
Get back here.
But one way that everyone can start to listen to themselves. Start with something very small. Start with a very small decision that you are intentionally making. And it could be about food, okay? And you can go to the grocery store. You're standing in an aisle and you're trying to decide between, okay, Uncle Ben's or Success Rice. All right. I don't know why those two popped in my head, but that's what you get.
Success Rice for me, please. But go ahead.
But it's one of the things of, okay, and you just get quiet. You look at the two brands. Okay, do I want Uncle Ben's or do I want Success Rice? And where your eyes go to first, choose that. Yeah. Or when a simple decision about a movie to watch. Do I want to watch this or this? Whichever one will not leave your mind or your eyesight, watch that. Because there's something in it that the universal knowledge that we all have knows that you're either going to enjoy it or see what you need to. And these are just really, really simple ways of allowing intuition to fill you up and guide you a little bit more. Start trusting it a little bit more, because that's one thing that we don't do enough is trust ourselves. I'm guilty of it.
No, not you.
I can hear her over here going, yep. You better say that. Because it's true. I mean, there are decisions that every single one of us make, and it doesn't matter how heightened awareness we are, where it's, oh God, do I want to do this or this? Because it's scary.
Yeah.
I mean, not all intuition is about bad things. Sometimes it is about stepping out of our box, like you said earlier.
Yeah.
But it's go ahead.
Oh, I thought you were done. My bad. I was just going to touch in on what you were talking about the movies. And I was going to say, you know how there's certain movies or even a phrase within a movie that still stands with you to this day? And have you ever watched how it unfolds in out to life? Like, I remember, this line. I don't know why I'm holding on to this line for 20 years. I'm not gonna tell my age, but for 20 years. But somehow, and that was making me think, like, that is so true, because you might not even be able to like that movie. You might think it sucks, but it might be that one line in there that stay with you forever. And helps guide you. It's always a reason, no coincidences. But I'm sorry. Keep
oh no, you're fine. You're fine. I mean, that's how it unfolds. I mean, while you were saying that, A Few Good Men popped into my head, and you can't hear. If you've seen that movie, you cannot hear that title without seeing Jack Nicholson sitting in the courtroom saying, "You can't handle the truth," and you can't, because it sticks with you. And I think that that's such a poignant statement, especially for this particular topic, because sometimes that's why we're afraid to tap into our intuition, because it is the truth. And it's an unseen truth that we can't explain. Why we know, we just do. Found what it was that I lost. I saw today on my doom scrolling of Instagram that I tend to do. Somebody had posted a video where he was like, okay, without opening your mouth or actually saying the word out loud, I want you to, on the count of 3, say happiness. So I'm gonna count to 3, and without saying it, I want you in your mind to say happiness. All right, 1, 2, 3. Okay. Now, what he said after that was, did you hear a voice? Whose voice was it? Did you say the word? Did you hear the word being formed as you said it in your mind? This is consciousness, but that could be a whole another topic. But also, when I see myself getting scratchy. Energies just rose. But when you see that inner voice is you, and it is your consciousness. So when you hear these inner voices trying to push you and guide you through your own voice and intuition, know that it's not something that's schizophrenic. It's not something that's unnatural. It is something that happens because when you are thinking about somebody and you hear their voice, who's creating their voice?
Right.
You are, not them.
You
But
sure? I know, like that's a whole other topic, but you sure?
dance around the rabbit hole. Bye.
I miss.
No, that I mean, for you and me who tapped into our spirit guides, which all of us have those too. But in this conversation and in this topic, is that actual spirit guides? Is that actual spirit team? Or is it an extension of our consciousness that we have given personas? And
I
that's
went down that rabbit hole.
I want to go down that rabbit hole. Don't ask me.
I know that's a little off topic, but my conclusion is it's our interpretation of the frequencies we're receiving. So yes, it's going through our ego filter, but no, it's not actually us. That's my conclusion. We assign them those voices and stuff. That's what it is. Because they're not speaking human English.
No, and sometimes the mind, the subconscious that wants to work it out and figure out what it is that it's actually hearing from these external frequencies, that it's acting as our intuition, because that
Right.
kind of what they're speaking to.
Right.
And using that internal compass that we have, which is intuition, as a way of helping us hear and understand. How can you hear somebody across the ocean that passed away a decade ago?
Right.
And the guidance that you learned from them. I don't know who I just spoke to, but I just spoke to somebody in that, because they're like, oh,
they got exposed.
how do you know?
I know.
We are literally just shells of energy. So, but intuition, follow your feelings.
Not the feelings. Those are taboo.
Now, notice I didn't say follow your emotions, because so many times we confuse feelings as emotions. Now, in order to experience an emotion, we have to have a feeling behind it. But that's not the kind of feeling I'm talking about when we're talking about intuition, because danger, Will Robinson, danger.
Right? I just heard like a few souls leave out their body right now. Like, feelings down. Feelings get you in trouble. I'm not listening to those.
You hurt my feelings. Wait, you hurt my intuition. How did you hurt my intuition? My intuition is intact. It's fully fine. My emotions, however, those were hurt. It's that kind of thing. That kind of stuff. But when you have a feeling about going somewhere, you think about going on a hike. You just feel like you need to get outdoors. Okay, that's a feeling. Okay, it's not an emotion, it's a feeling. So there's a difference.
Mm-hmm.
And then once you get there, you wind up seeing an eagle's nest or a random mushroom, for those who harvest mushrooms, that you never thought that you would find, but you were just guided to go there by your what?
Intuition. That's the word of the day. I feel like I'm on a show of Pee Wee Herman. Like, oh!
The word of the day is intuition.
Intuition.
Oh boy, we're
Okay.
in Pee-wee's Playhouse now.
Nope,
I might
not going
behave.
there.
Okay, I'm gonna act right. Go ahead.
Bringing out the playful in me. But I'm not gonna wear those shoes. Anika,
Please
not gonna do it.
don't.
What else do you have to say about it? I've been doing most of the talking.
Well, it's kind of tapped in on what I was saying earlier about people and their intuition. And I agree that we all have it, even if we're not acknowledging that that's what it is or really tapped into it, it's still there. And I notice a lot of the people, the reason why they face a lot of their questions when they're doing readings or even just talking or thinking to themselves about other people. But I would like to see people tap into their intuition more because is it really about other people and what they're doing on the outside, or is it really about what's going on with you? And I'm getting to a point here. It's like my intuition bothers me. Like my point is this: I notice a lot of people ask that are they cheating, and this I have something to say about that. You don't need to find evidence against someone if you're not happy in a relationship. You don't really need to know what other people are doing. Either your intuition is telling you and you're not happy, you feel to leave, and that should be enough. You don't have to have this solid reason to say you're a problem and that's why I'm leaving you. You can do it because you want to do better in life and because they're not a match. You don't, so that's why I try to tell people like if your intuition is on, if you're unhappy, this is not a match. Why do you have to be 007 to find dirt from whoever else? It don't even have to be a relationship like that. You just want some kind of validation that your feelings are correct when you don't need that because it's yours. Your intuition is telling you, hey, this is not a situation I want to be in. We need to move. You don't, it doesn't matter. They could be perfect. It doesn't matter. You need to listen to your intuition and say, it's time to move. So I know that's kind of like a little left and thrown randomly thrown in there, but I felt to tell you all that. It's like stop looking for that validation. You are enough and your intuition is enough. If you feel like it's time to change your job, then change your job. You don't have to wait till the boss kick you out or find some reason to not, like, okay, I need a valid, logical excuse to leave this job. No, you don't. If your gut say it's time to start looking for something else, look for something else. That's all. That's what I was thinking. Like, why do we do that? And I'm guilty. I'm not perfect, I'm magical, but I'm not perfect. So, and I do that too. It's like, and Mike could call me out on it sometimes. Like, why you need an excuse for your feelings? Like, I don't do it. It's like we do that. We know what we know, and we know how we feel, but we have to look for this logical reason to feel the way we feel. It doesn't work like that. It is what it is.
Yeah, when we try and logic out, when we try and work out what it is that we are feeling, we will almost guaranteed talk ourselves out of the feeling.
Mm-hmm.
It's one thing that one of my mentors, David Key, would say when somebody has a breakthrough and one of those popcorn aha moments where it's this giant revelation of something that they just realized. He would say, stay in that feeling. Don't try and work it out.
That part. Mm-hmm.
So
I'm
if you're
being
having these,
practical.
yeah, so if you're having these feelings about wanting to end a relationship, wanting to move someplace new, wanting to quit a job, wanting to start a new job, wanting to start a new hobby, wanting to go to a place, okay, follow them. If it's not at a point where you can just step out, then that's the point where instead of living in the excuses, like I tend to do.
You said it, not me.
I was going to own it. I wasn't going to let somebody else tell me. But that's accountability. You want to go watch that episode. There's a whole episode on accountability. We're not going to go there.
Okay.
But look at it differently when you have these feelings, when you have and coming to me for a reading, coming to Dominique or any other psychic for a reading about, is he or she cheating on me? You know what my question is almost every time? If you have to ask, that's it.
Yeah.
That's it. If you have to ask me that question, you already know. And there's a feeling that something is off. But because there's a feeling that something's off and you're trying to work it out, this is when intuition versus logic is going to work against you. Because instead of just addressing it, taking the accountability that you are having that feeling, if it's because I'm going to continue with the thought line of cheating. If there is that feeling, then eyes are wandering, but are they wandering to another person?
Right.
Now, what you're feeling may be spot on. Leave the baseball bat at home. They ain't worth it. If you're feeling spot on. That's just your indication of done. Let it be, let it go. Move on. Easy to say, Micah. Yes, I know.
Right? I know. They're like, yeah, but kids and money. And I'm like, yeah, I know, but
there's always going to be kids and money in some form of fashion to prevent these feelings of needing to move forward. We're going to always have the reasons of kids and money. Always. If we decide to logic out our intuition. Because we will find a reason not to. And we won't even mean it. We won't even, it won't be something that we do on purpose. It will just be something that happens as a result, because we will find all the reasons not to, until we start finding the reasons to.
Yep.
So if you have that intuition of something ain't right here,
then something not right.
then something's not right. That's when you need to start asking yourself, okay, self, what do I need to pay attention to? And then the subconscious is going to do the rest of the work for you. Then it's up to you to pay attention. Because the intuition is going to lead to synchronicities. And you'll start recognizing those even more. So once you have the feeling, the synchronicities start happening, then you start addressing the synchronicities, notice that they're happening even more. Then you're going to start trusting yourself a little bit more, because, okay, well, this feeling led to this feeling led to this feeling led to this. And over and over and over again, you're going to start seeing things just atom bomb, build on each other, and boom, there's your answer. And you didn't even have to work anything out. You just followed your own.
Ain't that the truth? I was thinking about something. I want to say an uncle, but you know how it is when you're a kid, everybody your uncle. I don't think he was really related to me. But something he said stuck out while you were saying that. And it's like, you always find what you're looking for. And I incorporated that in many aspects of my life. And when you said, oh, and you want to, you want to look, and you want to, like, you feel something's off. That's what you were saying. And you notice how if we feel something's off, and let's say the cheating again, I feel that they're cheating. I'm going to search their pockets. I'm going to look through their phone. I'm going to do this. If you look for BS, you're going to find BS. And it might not even be what you think it is. But because you set up your mind that this is what happened and I'm finding proof, and I know it, it's gonna look like that way to you. You might be the one overreacting because you are expecting to find this BS. So sometimes that's why I say stop focusing so much on the outside validation and focus on what's going on with you. Because it might be you sometimes. Something like that goes into what the accountability you was talking about. Sometimes we're the toxic one and we don't know it. And they may be not doing what we think, but it feels off to us just the same because it's not it that feeling may also mean some self-healing. Like, hey, chill out, you're paranoid. Some That's intuition. I'm trying not to get in self-awareness. But how would you explain how would you go about trying to discern what intuition is telling you in situations like that? And I'm addressing that situation because apparently that's the top tier on everybody's mind is what their significant other is doing. So how do you know when you're the one that's tripping in that intuition? Like
Well, as you were talking, I was thinking about how easy it is to misunderstand people in text. And when you were saying where if you go looking for a problem, there's going to be a problem, and you're going to read it that particular way. So if you're reading somebody's text and you have a misunderstanding about what it was that they meant, your mind is just going to go all over the place, thinking that they are, being demeaning, hateful, saying stuff about your mama, things like that.
right.
When all that has to happen is, whoa, stop, check. Not what they meant. Okay, what was it that you meant? And it literally does happen that fast, not what they meant. But if we allow ourselves to get caught up into the logic overriding the intuition, then we're just going to see that problem perpetuate and build. Being, with Rise Radio and being in a community of over 130 people, every once in a while, there's going to be a misunderstanding between messages. And it's up to myself and the rest of the staff to pay attention and try and figure out, okay, is this person actually being hateful? Are they being demeaning? Are they bullying? Are they cyber stalking? Are they talking down about somebody? Or are they just making a statement in their own way of who they are? And they're just not saying in a way that the other person is able to accept
it. One of my team, they got a mic. I saw a microphone going. Now ask him. You being interviewed on your own show. I'm like, y'all cut it out. It's like, so how do you know the difference between your gut feeling and your emotions? Because sometimes your intuition can trigger your emotions. That's what the peanut gallery had to say.
Because your gut feeling can trick your emotions. Yes, it absolutely can. And there are times where your gut feeling is going to make you feel so on edge that you are not going to trust yourself. You're not going to trust what you feel. You're not going to trust where you're being pointed to. Sometimes when that happens for me, I let my finger do the talking. Now that sounds so wrong, but what am I looking for? Where is it? And my arm will just start pointing around. It's there. And I won't even be looking at it. And this will happen. It's like, I'm really trying to find this. Oh.
I've had that happen to me. I was like, where is this? And then the next thing I know, it was in my hand. And I started laughing. I was like, okay.
So if you can't trust yourself, trust yourself. Come back here. Trust this intuition. Trust your gut. Now, there's brain matter, but it doesn't have the same filters.
It doesn't.
Are there times it is going to be absolutely 100% uncomfortable, taking you out of a comfort zone that's like, no, I don't want to do this, and you're going to be like that 5-year-old being dragged out of the grocery store because you wouldn't buy them a candy bar? Yes.
It gets that way. But I don't want to even show it out.
Yeah. And we're like, no, I'm not listening. No, I'm not listening. And then, damn it, I knew I should have listened.
Right. I knew that. Like, that's too true.
100% true. Oh. Well, I think I'm about full up. Are you full up?
Yeah.
Yeah, because we're about 45 minutes in, and I don't want to throw too much more at them. Because you and me, we could go pretty deep.
Right. All off topic, back to topic again and everything. Because it's so many layers to everything. So,
Oh, yeah. Diane and I call them branches, where we'll be on, I mean, we got the trunk of the tree, which is the topic of the day, and then it branches out to this, and we got little
right.
twigs and little leaves over here, and they're different colors, and they got little bugs crawling on them, and so we take dust them off, we climb back, oh, there's another branch, and we go up there.
Right.
But thank you so much for staying in and joining me tonight. I really appreciate it. I had a lot of fun.
Me too.
And I'm glad I'm glad you were able to drop everything at the last moment and have this conversation with me. And don't forget, to all the viewers, we will be back. Diane and I should be back as a team next week for another Phoenix Talks. Don't know what the topic is yet. It's her turn, so she'll have to let me know. But watch out for the promo and the shorts all over social media, and we will let you know what that is. This coming week, we have, what do we have coming up this week over on Rise Radio? We have Unplug on Sunday at 7 p.m. over on Zeno.fm. Look up Rise. And then on Monday, Carrie and I will be back for another episode of The Messengers at 6 p.m. Eastern. And you can find that over on Twitch under DJ Carrie Lynn with a Y and 2 N's and an E. But make sure that you guys have a great week. Trust yourself, trust your intuition, and we will be back soon. Love you, love yourselves, and keep going.